You now know how to create and work with the most common variable types in C#, but it's often necessary to convert variables from one type to another. In this lesson, you'll learn some of the ways you can convert variables. To begin, open the Shining Stone sample file from your Sample Files folder. And open the code behind file of by.aspx. We are now going to create a string variable. To do this, add the following code to the Button Submit Order click event handler. String phone number text equals text box phone number dot text. As you've seen before, this will create a string variable called phone number text that will contain the text that was entered into the text box phone number control. We are now going to use the convert method to convert the contents of the string variable into int data. In lesson 4.9, you added a range validator control to the page with a type property of integer. This ensures that the user can only enter integer values into the text box phone number control. Because you know the text box phone number control's text property will always contain an integer, it will always be possible to convert the string variable from its text property into an int variable. Add the following code on the next line. Int phone number equals convert.toInt32 phone number text. This code converts the contents of the phone number text string variable into integer data, which is then stored in a new variable called phone number. You could perform mathematical operations on the int variable, which is something you couldn't do with a string variable. If you look in the IntelliSense menu for Convert, you'll see that there are a lot of Convert.to options available. These include all of the types you have worked with in this session. We are now going to convert the contents of the int variable into float data, again using the convert method. On the next line, add the following code. Float phone number float equals convert.toSingle phone number. Note that the method for converting to float is toSingle rather than toFloat. This is because single is the real name of the float type in the .NET framework. You may recall hearing this in lesson 5.5. You could use the new float variable to carry out mathematical operations with decimal places, which is something you couldn't do with the string or int variables. Note that you don't have to use convert exclusively on strings and integers. You could use it to convert an int to a decimal, or a float to an int, or any other combination you can think of. Obviously, not all conversions are possible. Trying to convert a bool to a datetime, for example, would cause an exception. Exceptions were covered in lesson 3.5. Although there is a convert.toString method, it's easier just to use toString, as you'll see in lesson 5.9. We are now going to use the alternative parse method to convert the contents of the string variable to int data. Replace the line that begins int phone number with int phone number equals int.parse phone number text. The parse method is an alternative to the convert method, but it only converts from string to other types. There is a parse method available for all of the types you have worked with in this session. Note that if either the parse or convert methods are not able to convert a variable, an exception will be generated. There is a conversion method called try_parse, which enables you to attempt to convert a variable without causing an exception if conversion is impossible. Try_parse is covered in the Expert Skills course in this series. We are now going to convert the contents of the string variable to float data. We are now going to use the parse method to convert the string variable into float data. Replace the float phone number float line with float phone number float equals float.parse phone number text. Here, you're using the parse method to convert the phone number text string into float data. Close Visual Studio, saving your changes if prompted. You've now completed Lesson 5.8, Convert Variables using Convert and Parse.